Hello, welcome to the Parent Academy Google Classroom. This is the second session of AMA Parent Academy. I would like to first start off in saying welcome to this session. We're so glad you're here and appreciate that you registered for our 7 p.m. recording. According to, again, if you were attending our live session, you would be asked to do the sign in on the Google form, but because you're in the recording session, it is not necessary for you to do that. So to start this session off, we're going to talk about beginning to log into your personal Google account. So if you go to Google and then you want to go into the sign in button, or if you're already logged into your child's account, I'm going to need you to log out of it because this session is going to work through your personal Google account so that you can learn and interact with the Google Classroom. So again, you want to log in with your own personal Google account by logging in here. Then the next thing we're going to do is go to the Google icon waffle. So this waffle icon opens up the Google menu, the plethora of apps and things. Like I said, in our computer session yesterday, there are several different apps within here, but we generally use quite just this selection right here: Classroom, Meet, Gmail, Drive, and Calendar. And what I want you to click on is the Classroom. Okay. Once you've clicked on the Classroom, you're going to enter in here. We're going to join the AMA Parent Academy classroom, and how we're going to do this is by clicking this plus sign. Let me change my mouse. You're going to click on this plus sign here. It's going to open up this menu, and you're going to hit Join Class. Okay, you need to make sure that you are on your personal Google account. If you are using your student Google account, this is not going to work for this activity. Again, you want to make sure that you're on your personal Google account. Then you're going to type in the class code right here. The class code for the AMA Parent Academy classroom is JALU5JE. And this, again, is the code to enter into the Parent Academy classroom. You will also see that I've attached a special link within the email sent to you about this recording. This is going to help you get in. All you have to do is click the link and you're already in. Okay. We're going to come back to this last slide because obviously you can tell that this is the last slide of our presentation because now we're going to enter into the classroom. So we're going to go through as this class. So here we are on the Google Classroom page as I am a learner. So here's AMA Parent Academy. I'm going to enter in. And now I want to show you on this page, this is the stream page. So this is kind of like its home page. Everything in here tells you like what I've uploaded, what has been put on this classroom for you to see. Sometimes you may not see this in your child's classroom because your teacher may have this setting turned off, that you may only see announcements. So this is an example of an announcement that I made at 8:30 a.m. today is, hello, welcome to the Parent Academy. We're so glad you're here. So when you're entering in here, you will see my special message to you. You're able to comment on here and let me know that you have entered in this classroom. Okay. The next thing is that I want to draw attention to is this upcoming section. This is where you're in your child's classroom, you would see work that is upcoming. And when you click View All, it's going to take you to this page. And what's so great about this feature, when you click this button, is that it will have a drop down here that you can click and you can enter in all the classes that you are scheduled in. So you can look at all your children's classes. Okay, so again, you want to be looking at all classes and you can see all the things that your student is currently working on, some things that don't have any due date. For the sake of our experience, there are no due dates. You'll see what your student has that's coming up in this week, what's due next week, and what's due later, but is something that they've been assigned. To view your student's missing work, you're going to hit missing at the top here, and you would see any missing work from any of your classes, or if you wanted to zero on a specific class. So this is where you would find missing work. And then underneath done, you can see here as a student in the Parent Academy, I have completed some assignments, things that I have turned in. This check mark means that the teacher has received it. Turned in means that it has been received. If you click on something specifically, you'll see here, I did get feedback from my teacher, which we'll go into detail later. So from this point, if you need to get back to the classroom, you're going to click here, the AMA Parent Academy, and it will take you right back to the stream. So the other thing that you would like to see is looking at classwork. This is where you're going to find the materials and the assignments your teachers have assigned your student. A Google Classroom is set up by what they call topics. So your teacher may have this set up in their own particular way. Some teachers may have it by subject. Some teachers may have it by the week and having the subjects within the week. So you may want to spend some time with, you know, if you're in need of support, reach out to your teacher to learn more about their Google Classroom. For our session, we have our Parent Academy introduction, which there's just a quick little video just to kind of introduce to you about this Parent Academy experience. Myself and Mrs. Save are your points of access for resources in regards to learning more about Parent Academy. And we just have our short little introduction video. The next section is the American Montessori Academy links, where you have access to our COVID response plan, so our return to safety school plan. By clicking on this link, it will open it up right there for you. You'll notice that I keep clicking on these things and it expands it to show you what's on these, so you can look at it. If you wanted to look at something more closely, you hit view material, which when we get to one, I will show you as an example. So here's the AMA Virtual Learning website. This website has everything that you would need to see per grade level, for specials, for special education, all of our resources available to you, everything that you as a parent would need to know is all on this website about virtual learning, and as well as our continuous learning plans. The next one I want to draw attention to is this parent portal. This one's actually really important that I want to make sure that you are utilizing. This parent portal is used to access your student grades. So you're able to see the grades that your child is having currently in the teacher's grade book. You can also notify the office of any absences that your student is incurring, or if you have a doctor's note that you can upload. This is where this happens. You are also able to update any contact information or any emergency information on your student's profile. Okay. Just make sure, again, this was a letter that came out at the beginning of the year during your enrollment process or your fall packet pickup. So this is a letter that you should have received with your username and password. If you are unsure about this or you do not know this information, please contact our office and they'll be right with you. Then the last thing I have in your Academy links is the link to our student handbooks. So the handbook that we have that outlines all the specific expectations for students and for the parent-teacher school relationship is found here on this website. I again want to draw your attention to that there are two handbooks, one for the brick and mortar, which is our building, and two for our virtual learning academy. So if you have a student that is a full-time virtual learning student, this is the handbook for you. And you can find it again here on this website, located conveniently here for you. The next section is specifically about blended learners, which I wanted to take some time to kind of talk about. So the blended learner, again, when I click on this, it expands into this. So you can click and drag here, or what we can do is go down here and view material. Now, you've noticed that there are several different icons within the Google Classroom. We're going to get to this, but I just want to draw your attention to it. So I'm going to turn off my mouse pointer so you can see this very clearly. So a blended learner is expected to attend physically in the building on their assigned days and participate online during their remote days. So when they're at home during the remote days, these are the available live instruction options available to them. We may post pre-recorded videos, live instruction with their virtual teachers. So what that means is you currently have your blended teacher, but there's also the virtual teacher for that team. So they have the option to attend their whole group lesson online in a video format. And there are also live online check-in forms. Obviously, you need to contact your teacher for more information about your available options, especially pertaining to the schedule that they have. Some strategies that can be helpful for families with blended learners on remote days are keeping a consistent schedule and routine as close to a regular school day as possible, waking up on time for a school day, grooming and putting on appropriate attire, eating breakfast prior to any online sessions, and keeping lunchtime at a regular routine time and duration. These are very critically important things. As a Montessori school, we really focus on practical life skills. So these are part of it, making sure that, we're gearing them up and ready, because we're not just focused on academics, we're focused on the whole child and preparing them for a successful future. Another thing is to be looking at your students' work for the day and making sure that there's time for each subject, especially on your remote days of Wednesday when there is not a full day of live instruction. You want to make sure that your child is, again, working on math, working on reading and writing, social studies, science, specials. So at least one for the day. We have 3 specials: art, music, and gym. Currently, our upper elementary students will have art for this next week, and then art will go down and transition to the lower building. And art will then return to the upper campus in trimester 3. So trimester 2, art will not be a special that your student will be completing, but is something that you should be well aware of as they continue to work online. The next thing important to make sure that there is time for is social emotional learning. All our lower L campus, so all the way from K to up to 5th grade, is completing the Sanford Harmony curriculum for social emotional learning, which is specific videos that your teacher may post for your student to watch, as well as some activities that may coincide with those videos. 6th through 8th grade will be doing Tough Life Skills, which is videos and different assignment questions that they have to answer. And this is all about those specific characteristics of, being able to monitor our social emotional well-being, as well as practical life skills for their future. I also want to make sure that you are also aware that Wednesdays are our full remote day. That means there is not a full day of live instruction. That is our day for teachers to be planning and give feedback to students and in grading. So a fully remote day, what that means for your student is that your student may have some live instruction depending on the grade level and teacher. The fully remote day gives the learner some flexibility in how their work can be completed. But again, what's really important to know is that Wednesday is still, in fact, a school day in which your child is required to complete daily tasks to ensure that their virtual learning attendance is met. So they have to be attending any live sessions that they're scheduled to attend. They have to complete their online activities. And these things work together to make sure, again, we can mark your student present and their virtual learning attendance is being met. So what should your student be completing on a fully remote day? Well, your student will be assigned specific assignments and tasks for that day that in their Google Classroom or whatever format that your teacher has decided. But generally, all our teachers on our district are using Google Classroom. So some grade levels and teachers may have some live sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, in order to take attendance as well as provide some instruction. Again, I want to reiterate, it is very important. If there are pre-recorded videos, your students should be watching these because it will help them and assist them into completing their daily assignments and tasks. So that's about the blended learner. And I'm going to hit the back arrow. It's going to take me back to my Google Classroom. So as you can see here, I am done with this. The next thing under blended learners, which is the same thing for virtual learners, is finding out where you can find weekly schedules. You should be receiving communication from your teacher about when, your weekly schedule. So via email or via their Google Classroom, you have access to that. But another point where you can find these schedules is, again, on our AMA virtual learning website. It's all posted on there. Thank you, Mrs. Arnott, for always taking your time to making sure that this is available to our families. What you do is so appreciated. And I've also created here a video for you to help you navigate and learn how to find your weekly schedule. So, and all the links here have been provided. So the virtual learner, again, is very much like the blended learner, except the virtual learner is participating in a full-time virtual experience learning online. That means whatever live sessions have been established by their teacher, your student is expected to attend those live sessions just as much as if they were in school. Okay, and then they also have to complete all their online assignments and tasks as assigned and by the due date. So some strategies that help with virtual learning, again, is keeping that consistent schedule and routine. You want to make sure that they're getting up, waking up on time, grooming and putting on appropriate attire before their first session of the day. As well as being at home, I know that, working from home, I know that, going to the kitchen and grabbing a snack is just so convenient. We want to make sure you understand that eating food needs to happen before any online sessions. Eating during sessions can be distracting, and it's very difficult to see if your student is really taking in that content, to make sure that we can continue to go down the path if that type of instruction is working for them, or if we need to change our tactic to continue to reach your child. So the least amount of distractions as possible is very helpful to your teacher, as well as very beneficial for your child. So another strategy is looking at your students' work for the day and following the schedule your virtual teacher has outlined for you. Students are then expected to attend all live sessions and complete their online work daily and by due dates. So again, for them, their full remote day is again Wednesday, just like the blended learn. So all those expectations are the same thing. If anything, virtual learners are more adaptive to be able to handle this on Wednesday because they do it every day. But again, just to reiterate, this is still a school day. They still have work that needs to be done to ensure that their virtual learning attendance is being met. So, and again, we have here how to find virtual learning schedules. Okay, our next section in our Google Classroom is looking at programs and apps. And I'm just going to do a quick overview about this because tomorrow's session is digging deeper into these and going through them each one by one. And you, the learner, actually get to participate in them, so you will be better equipped to help your child with these programs. So like I said, this is just going to be a quick overview. We have two programs that we are consistently using right now at AMA, and that is Pathblazer and OdysseyWare. Pathblazer is the program that we are using with all students in the AMA district, K through 8. This program is specifically tailored and identified for their area of need by NWEA testing, so for math and reading. We are able to use this program during what we call win time. Win time is what I need time. This is where students are working on skills that need practice. And the teacher is then meeting with a small group of students working on needed skills that may not have already been previously mastered, or this is a skill that needs to continue to be pushed, or maybe this is a skill that if your child is continuing and reaching above grade level, we may push them even more. That's why it's called What I Need Time. Each kid is getting exactly what they need. So your teacher will continue to be monitoring your students' progress on Pathblazer each week to ensure that adequate progress is being made. So the best expectation about using Pathblazer is that your child should be using it daily in math and in reading. At AMA, it is our mission to ensure that students are receiving instruction at their level while providing engaging practice while in school and while working virtually. And that is what Pathblazer is able to provide for your child. Doing 20 minutes in each subject a day is going to be very beneficial to your child to continue to help them reach their level or even push them to a higher level. Now we also have OdysseyWare. This is a program that is only being used from students in grades 3 and up. This is where teachers are assigning students specific assignments, and that is to continue their instructional learning at their level. So it is expected that your students should be on the OdysseyWare a few times throughout their virtual learning day. So during math, during reading and writing. Again, your teacher is going to continue to monitor their progress through assignments and assessments on this program. Okay, this program is, again, to help us monitor your students' mastery on skills in their core subject areas. It's very much like what we do in the classroom, and that is set up for your students to practice skills and show mastery on their assessments. So it's important for you to know that when they're completing assignments and assessments on this program, it may not let your student move on until they practice that skill to show that they have mastered it. And if you need more information about that, that is conveniently located in my video here for you. And your teacher is also available for any questions about OdysseyWare. Then we have classroom apps. And some of these are used by most classrooms, others are not. Again, it definitely depends on grade level and definitely depends on your teacher. But these are some very common apps that your student may be asked to be using. And we are going to be experiencing these again tomorrow during our next session of programs and apps. But we're just going to do just a very quick overview. ClassKick is a program where teachers are able to, when they're working with students in small groups, see what the student is doing in real time. Assessments goes with our math program, which is called Eureka Math or Engage New York Math. And these have specific problems that works with that teachers may be assigning within their Google Classroom. Guided Readers is used from K to 3. This is to provide different additional reading material to students at their level as they continue to learn the reading foundations and learn how to read. This is the same thing for RAS Kids, or what we call Reading A to Z. So this is, again, something used through K through 3. Kahoot is something that's used across the board, maybe not very frequently, but it is a game-like option where teachers can engage our students in learning content or assessing their learning by playing a Kahoot game. And you will get to experience this tomorrow. The next section is our Google Classroom section. Right now, you're experiencing the navigating the classroom. And then very shortly here, we're going to talk about materials and assignments and move through our work areas here. This is the assignment samples, which is going to be another big part of our portion here. This will be activated once I see that you have entered in the classroom. They have been set up ahead of time, just to make sure that these were here for you and already prepared. So again, once you enter in the classroom, I'm able to refresh who's been assigned these assignments. So you may not see these right away, but as soon as I refresh, you will be able to see these exactly. And we will go through these one by one. Yesterday, we talked about computer basics, talking about Google options, and that's what Google Drive and Google Calendar are. And those are just informational pieces right here for you to review and as needed. So I want to go back up here and we're going to look at materials and assignments. So when we're looking at the Google Classroom, there are many different icons. Remember, I already talked about this. So I'm just going to draw your attention to that. The very first one is called a material, and it's a little square with like a little flag bookmark here. This is something that must be read first. This provides directions for assignments and lessons. As a teacher, when I was working with 6th grade at the beginning of the year, I really went through this with them so that they knew exactly what they were looking at in the Google Classroom. So materials are something where a teacher can attach videos and examples that will help them complete their assignments. Oftentimes when a student was like, I don't know what to do, I would say as a teacher, like, well, did you read the material first? I'm going to make sure you did this first before you come back and ask me, because that's just a life skill that kids need to learn, is just reading directions. I mean, oftentimes we as adults neglect to read the directions, and that's why we get so frustrated at putting the coffee maker together, right? So again, just making sure that strategy, if your child is coming to you and saying, I don't know what it's asking me to do, I don't know how to do it, ask them, did you read the directions first? Did you read the materials with the examples provided first? And maybe even going through that with them may help them to solidify that skill of reading the directions first, okay? The next one is assignments or quiz assignment, because you'll see that they have the same icon. So this is something your student has to work on. This is something that they have to do. Sometimes it may ask them to upload something, or the teacher already has a document attached to it for them to complete. And as we move into our assignments, I will show you exactly what this means and how you can turn them in. But a big key thing is, which I've been telling the 6th grade students and I've been telling students as I've been working through them throughout the year, is you are not done until you select the turn in button or mark as done button to submit to your teacher. When you hit these buttons, that notifies your teacher that you have indeed 100% completed the assignment and turned it in. The next one is a question. Google has this option of where a teacher can ask a question. There's two types. There's a multiple choice question, and then there's a response question. Again, this is something your student has to work on. It is something that must be done. So again, they could submit a response, or maybe it is a multiple choice question. Sometimes your teacher may ask your student in a question that you provide your response, but then you must comment on other students' responses. This is called a comment thread. And we're going to get to that in our sample question in our classroom. So, as always, you must mark as done to submit. So those are the Google Classroom material and assignment icons. So as you can see here through the Google Classroom, we have tons of materials, and then we have assignments. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the student work area. There is a video here for you to watch. As we move into our sample assignments, it will be a little bit more clear. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that right now. We generally did talk about submitting and turning in assignments, but it will become more clear as you work through assignments yourself. But just for your reference, there again is a video here for you to understand how to turn in assignments. Viewing teacher feedback. As we move into our sample assignments, I will show you how this works, but there is also another video for you here. Parent summaries. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about that. Okay, parent summaries is something that you can opt into. The teacher has to have this set up in their Google Classroom to have this already available to you. You can become a guardian to the student in the classroom by assigning your parent email to that account. There is a difference, meaning that if you are using a email that is not a Google email, you will automatically be opted in to a weekly email. Whereas if you have a Google email for your parent guardian summary, you have the option to change going either from weekly correspondence to a daily correspondence. And this parent summary just kind of goes over what your student is working on, like is there something that is due within this week, what's due next week. It goes over missing assignments. It goes over everything that your student is doing across all the classrooms. So once you sign into one, all those classrooms who have this set up, you are automatically opted in for all of them with your student. And then there's a frequently asked questions section here where I have provided you with a very useful handout. If there isn't a question on here that you don't see, please feel free to leave a comment, and I'm more than happy to reach out to you and provide that answer to your question. All right, are you ready for the most interactive session of our Google Classroom? All right, let's do this. So the first one we have is the Google document. When you're clicking on an assignment in the Google Classroom, you click on the tab and you can view the assignment by clicking View Assignment. So you'll see here that there is directions. Your teacher will have very detailed directions here about what to do. So this one is use the Google assignment sample. Parents will learn how to use the Google document to submit in Google Classroom. Watch the video before beginning. Make sure to read all the directions on your Google document assignment. What's great for you is you've already watched the video because you're living it right now. So the next thing we're going to do is you'll see here, this is your student work area. Remember I told you we're going to revisit this? I have currently done this because this was what I used to create your videos here in this Google Classroom. But what you're going to do is click the Google document. And it's going to open up a new tab. And what you're going to see here is my completed work already. I've already done this assignment as a student in this classroom. As you see here, I've created a very simple Google document to help you learn the basics of how to use Google Documents. And it's very important that you take the time just to familiarize yourself with this. You may already know how to do these things, but it's always good practice. It's just a few couple listed things just for you to learn how to utilize this and utilize the tools that your students may be asked to do until you reach the end. What is great about Google Documents and Google Slides is that once you're done with it, it's already done. It's automatically saves. So you can hit this X button and it will still be how you left it. The important thing is that once you're done with the assignment is to come back to the Google assignment. And then again, hit the turn in button. Right now mine says resubmit because I am showing you how I can turn it in. Once I turn something into the teacher, if there was something that I forgot, if there was something that, oh, I wanted to add this or I wanted to change something, I can't change anything in this document until the teacher returns it to me. The teacher has to return it to me in order for me to make any edits or make any changes. So if your teacher returns something to you, it is often already graded, or they may ask you saying, could you fix this? And you can go back in and fix it and then resubmit it. You do not need to go back and resubmit something if there is no need to make any changes. Oftentimes you will see in this corner, what is your grade for that assignment? All right, let's move to our next assignment. I'm going to hit our parent in Google Classroom, go to classwork, and we're going to go to Google Slides. You'll see here I provided a video for you to watch before beginning Google Slides. I'm going to view assignment. You'll see here, this is something I am continuing working on, but I haven't turned it in yet. It is something that has been assigned to me. So I'm going to open up my Google Slides. I followed my directions. I completed my assignment. I am now going to go back to my classroom because I am done. Okay. Once I've completed the assignment, I'm going to hit the turn in button and watch what happens as I turn it in. It's going to ask me, do you want to turn in your work? Are you done? You're going to turn it in. So it has that fail-safe feature. So if you weren't done with it or you forgot something, you don't hit turn in, you hit cancel, go back and fix it. And now you can see that it has been turned in. I have notified my teacher that I have completed this assignment and it is ready for them to grade it. Now, the next one that I wanted to talk about is the Google Form quiz, which I have attached in your email to this session. I have provided a video about how to finish this. Yesterday, you may have completed this in the computer basics. This is just another practice sample item. Again, once you've entered this, you have completed it, it will already be automatically turned in, but you still need to mark it done in the classroom. You have to press the mark it done button. So you want to make sure that you complete this and come back to the assignment. Feel free to pause and complete this assignment and move to turn in. The next sample assignment I have for you is the question. And this one I want to spend a little bit of time on because as I've learned with the kids of how when I taught sixth grade at the beginning of the year and using this feature, it took a little bit of a time to learn how to use it. And that's okay. When something's new, we do work on that. Okay, so when you're on here, you'll read the question up top here. Sometimes the teacher will provide directions here. And I can tell you as a sixth grade teacher, I really drew attention to this and said, really read the directions. I have provided you a video to help you with this assignment. So the question, what would you like to see on AMA Parent Academy? I first said that I would love to see pictures. I'm going to add a little something to it. I also, oops, Love to learn more about DocHub. I've heard this program's coming up quite a bit. I'm still working on my training video for you guys. So once I've completed my written response, I'm going to hit the turn in button. Okay. When your student is assigned this, sometimes you will be asked to comment on your classmates. So I can look at my classmate answers here as a choice, or I can go up here. If your student hasn't submitted their response, this will not be available to them until they submit their response. So now I can go in here and see who's commented on it. So here's my response. Here is another student's response. And when I hit the reply button, I can see all the people who have replied to my first comment. And now I want to reply to saying, thank you for your reply. And then I'm able to comment on them. So again, even here. And to see it again, it just pulls it right down. And that is how you complete a question in a Google Classroom. And remember, I told you a Google Classroom question has multiple choice as well. As you can see here, this is a multiple choice question where it's asking, once I hit view question, here's your question. How are you feeling about helping your students with the assistance of our AMA Parent Academy? I've said, I have a few things I need more practice on. Okay, and then your teacher, again, will provide you feedback. So that's within this section called private comments. And that is pretty much the end of your sample classroom assignments. And that marks the end of our Parent Google Classroom Academy. For the most part. There is one more thing. I'm so sorry. You want to click this one here at the top in your student section. It's called View Your Work. So just kind of like what I said before, but this one's specifically for this classroom. So you can see all the assignments that have been updated in this classroom. You can see what's currently still assigned. You can see what's been returned. You can see what's still missing. So these are really big things. If you're seeing an assigned button, that means your student hasn't completed it yet. If you're seeing a turned in button, that means your student did complete it. Your teacher hasn't given feedback yet. For some things, if they are not receiving a number grade, they will have a check mark. That means the teacher has seen it and has checked it. And if they have given it a grade, there will be a grade here. For our classroom, I'm not giving any grades. So I guess you can feel a little comfortable that you're not getting a grade. Any last features of the Google Classroom is, again, looking at people. That's the last thing is, like, you can email your teachers from here, or you can send an email to any of your classmates. You can see who's participating in the Google Classroom. But that's pretty much it, you guys. And I really appreciate you taking the time again to come out and register for our event. Please make sure you go back to your email and see our survey questions. I'm trying to get to our last slide here. So sorry, it's very, very slow. It's coming along. There it is. Okay, so again, your feedback is very important to us. So please make sure that you complete the survey at the end of the session and let me know how these sessions are going for you. If there are any other topics that you were hoping to see, but you didn't quite see in this session. Also give me feedback on our Google Classroom and how helpful that was, the sample assignments. Please, again, your feedback is just very important to us. And again, thank you so much for attending our session, and we look forward to seeing you in our next one.